Well, hello. Welcome back to another episode of From a Very Harry Productions. I'm Harry, and here we have Vincezio again to talk about movies we saw here in 2015. There were some really good ones, some not so good. And also, I should note out, he saw only like 11 or 12 movies. I saw 25, so I'm pretty proud about that.
I should note that I'm here proving that I don't care what people think and that I'm a loyal friend.
And because you wanted to do it. He really wanted to do it.
We gonna start?
Yeah, let's start. Okay, so let's first, the way we'll do this, first mention a couple of the movies we didn't like, then name any honorable mentions we might have, and then for our, for our top 10, you'll do 10 through 6, I'll do 10 through 6, then you'll do 5 through 2, I'll do 5 through 2, and we'll both say what our favorite movie of the year was.
All right.
So, Vincezio, would you like to start off with movies that you might not have liked this year?
You know what, I will. I'll start with some fan favorites, some franchises that people love, but I'm just gonna say it. I was underwhelmed by both Spectre and Mission Impossible 5. I didn't enjoy either of them that much.
This is dishonorable mention, right?
Yes, this is
not
dishonorable mention.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Dishonorable mention. Spectre and Mission Impossible 5. I don't know what the craze has always been. I understand some people like the spy movies. I more appreciate the movies that make fun of the spy movies because I think they're kind of lame. They're okay, but they're really cliche. It's the same thing over and over again. And that's not the only reason I don't like it because I like some movies that are like, people will say it's the same thing over and over again. I enjoy superhero movies. But it's just not my thing. I just don't enjoy them that much, and I didn't think there was anything in these ones that put them above any other spy movie for me. The only thing, of course, the Spectre James Bond, I did love looking at the suits. The suits were on point, I will say. So that was cool.
Well, I didn't see Spectre, so I can't comment on that. I love Mission Impossible, and we'll get to that on where it is in my list later.
Also, Minions, okay? I freaking love those guys, but the movie, garbage. All I remember was it didn't even entertain me. It wasn't that funny.
I purposely didn't go to see that.
It was dumb. Minions blew. I don't like Minions.
Okay. Anything else?
I don't really remember some of the movies I saw.
Well, when I mention one of mine, I certainly hope you'll realize that that'll also be on your dishonorable list. Anyway, there were two movies particular this year that I did not enjoy. First of all, Tomorrowland is a movie. The reason this is on my dishonorable mention list is because I was really looking forward to this movie. It looked really cool. It was directed by Brad Bird. He did The Incredibles and Mission Impossible 4, both really great movies. Stop that.
Mission Impossible. No.
And it was
great.
disappointing, and it turned out to just be sort of a, I don't know, cliched sci-fi movie. So that was underwhelming. And quite possibly the other movie is one of the worst theater-going experiences I think I've ever had in my life. Paul Blart Mall Cop 2.
I was with you.
Oh my gosh, that movie was terrible. Yeah, it was good seeing it with you and Paul, but let's be honest, that's the only reason I actually went to see that movie. And was that
cute.
Actually not on your dishonorable list, or did you just forget about that?
I don't know.
Okay, well, I hated that movie, and it was just bad, really bad. Okay, so are there any honorable mentions you might want to mention before we get into the...
Even the bottom of my top 10 are honorable mentions. I thought this was a terrible year for movies.
I don't know.
Well, I will honorably mention movies that he won't let me put on my list because they technically came out before 2015.
That is true, they did.
And so they're like... But American Sniper might just be atop of my list if it had not been technically released in other countries. But in America, it was released in 2015, and American is in the title, and fantastic movie. The only time I can remember going to a theater in which everybody was just silent afterwards, out of just pure respect. Nobody made a noise. Just excellent movie. American Sniper would top that list. I actually did a double header with some people, and we saw The Wedding Ringer right before, and I'm glad we saw The Wedding Ringer before because...
Well, that did come out this year.
Yeah,
so.
That could sure be on my dishonorable, I guess. I just have not really any feelings towards The Wedding Ringer. But also, another one I saw in theaters this year, even though it came out last year, Foxcatcher. Foxcatcher was awesome. It is painstakingly slow, at times even boring. Almost nothing happens. It's an almost 2.5 hour movie, and it pretty much could have been a half hour long in terms of what happens. But I loved it. It was just great. Excellent filmmaking, and then you have Steve Carell in a career-changing role. We've always loved him as a comedian, Michael Scott. But,
of course.
And in many other roles, he's been hilarious. But he takes on a serious role, gets nominated for an Oscar for it. I was pulling for him to win. Incredible job. Career-changing role for Channing Tatum. I actually respect him now. And then Mark Ruffalo was great. Foxcatcher was a great experience.
Wow. Great. I actually didn't see that, but it's one that I wanted to see. So, okay. I have a considerably longer honorable mention list than him because I saw a lot more movies than he did. From the bottom, we have Mr. Holmes.
Because I have a lot more life than he does.
No, I just like to go see more movies than you. I still have a good life. Okay.
You still have a good life.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. So, we have Mr. Holmes, which is kind of a movie about an older Sherlock Holmes and what he was like in an older age. And that was not as good as I was hoping, but still a pretty good movie. War Room, which was made by the same people who did Fireproof and Facing the Giants and Courageous. I was, pleased by this movie. I think they're continually getting better, really good messages there, and probably the best acting we've seen in any of those movies. Woodlawn, a movie that some people may not have heard of, but it was another kind of Christian-made movie about some racist issues and just this Christian movement that took place back in the early 2000s. Sean Astin was great in that. It was a fun movie. Southpaw, which I think is on Vincenzio's top 10 list. I didn't love this movie, but I like boxing movies. I like what's his face? Jake Gyllenhaal. He was great in the movie. We also have Jurassic World. This wasn't an amazing movie.
It'd be on my list if I had seen it in theaters. Yeah, I saw it afterwards.
It was fun. Another dinosaur movie, The Good Dinosaur, which is Pixar's latest.
Black.
He was not in The Good Dinosaur.
I know. I was just going back to Jurassic World.
But we'd already moved on at this point. Okay.
Go ahead.
But this was Pixar's latest movie. Yes. And, there were things I liked about it, but visually it was incredible, I'll say that. But the story, it was kind of lacking in terms of Pixar quality. So it wasn't amazing, but it was good. Then we have Mad Max Fury Road. Did you see that one?
No, I heard it was great.
That movie was...
I didn't get to see Good Dinosaur either.
Insane. I mean, as far as action movies go, and just the level of... the level of authentic and actual practical effects they used was just incredible. Kingsman: The Secret Service, that came out back in February. Could you at least try to act like
I'm bored.
You're bored?
I'm trying to entertain myself.
Okay, fine. At least act for the cameras. Anyway, then we have Kingsman: The Secret Service. This came out back in February, I think, but this was, a pretty fun kind of comedy spoof, but fun action spy movie. Ant-Man... Another Marvel movie. It was fun, actually better than I thought, so that was cool. In the Heart of the Sea, this movie wasn't as good as I was hoping, but given I love that the high seas adventure kind of thing, the whale scenes. This was the one about that inspired the story of Moby Dick. It was a really good movie, and I enjoyed it. Not as good as I hoped, but it was still good. Peanuts movie, that was also really fun. It was classic Peanuts quality. It was really good, and I enjoyed it. The Big Short with Christian Bale and Steve Carell, and I guess I should also say Ryan Gosling, but that movie was definitely, I'll say, mentally stimulating. And
he didn't understand it.
I understood it to a certain extent.
He didn't get it.
I got it enough, Yes, I was lost at some points, but it was still good. I appreciated it as good quality cinema. And then the final shout out that I will have for honorable mention is Sicario. This movie was really incredibly well directed by the guy who made Prisoners last year. One of our favorite movies.
It wasn't last year, but it was awesome.
Oh, that was 2 years ago. Excuse me.
Yeah, it was.
So that. It was intense. It was really captivating. It was beautifully shot by Roger Deakins, one of the best cinematographers out there right now. It was very dark and very pessimistic. Not a whole lot of happy stuff going on, but it was. I'm really glad I saw it, and it was a good movie. Okay,
moving into the top 10.
Moving into the top 10.
All right, I'll start.
You start
with number 10. Mockingjay Part 2. Can you put, like, graphics, animations these? Like, can that pop up on the screen when I say it, like, right here?
Yeah, that's what I did.
Mockingjay Part 2. Pretty much made the list because all the other movies I saw outside of this top 10 I really just didn't like. But Mockingjay Part 2 was made well, and it entertained me, but it basically also reminded me why I hate the book, and I threw it on the floor at one point, so still not great. Number 9, Southpaw. Southpaw was incredibly enthralling. We had some quality acting from Jake Gyllenhaal and the supporting cast. Pretty good movie. I mean, not like... I wouldn't say like I thoroughly enjoyed it or anything, but it was one of those movies you come out and you're like, pretty good movie. Number 8, Ant-Man. Definitely better than expected. Thought this movie was going to stink. It wasn't like monumental. It's another superhero movie. It's just that's what it is. But it was definitely kept my interest and was pretty good throughout.
It was solid.
And with number 7, Avengers Age of Ultron. Yet again, the Avengers movies disappoint for me. Avengers 1, I liked. I liked
you
it.
were disappointed by the first
I liked
Avengers movie?
1 considerably more than Avengers 2, but I still was disappointed by it. Avengers 2 could have been much higher on this list, but they had to just basically do nothing different and original. Just have a robot trying to take over the world, argue with each other, and then finally get the job done. Nice.
I think there's a little more to it than that, but whatever.
That's basically what it was, so kind of sick of that. Number 6... This is kind of an intermediary in between like the movies that I just kind of like, and then my top 5, which I love all those movies. Yeah. I still think it was a really weak year for movies, but number 6, Big Short, Ryan Gosling, Christian Bale, Steve Carell, Brad Pitt. That's all I'll say. No, actually, that's not all I'll say, because there was also other awesome actors from TV shows such as The Crazy Ones and New Girl. And others are just some good actors in there. And I also like some up and coming budding actors. So maybe the best acting of all the movies I've seen this year. Best ensemble cast.
Really great acting.
And really, how they made this movie interesting was a feat, because it's about the economic downturn of 2008.
Yeah, that could have been
and the major recession. Could have been pretty boring. Kept my interest the whole way. I don't know enough about economics and finance to know if I exactly agree with the agenda they were pushing, but I knew enough and was able to pick up on enough to follow the movie and stay interested, and it was good.
All right, fair enough. Okay, so my 10 through 6, coming in at number 10, I put The Gift. This was Joel Edgerton's debut directing.
Whoever that is.
Did you see he's in Warrior? And he
I saw Warrior.
Anyway, it was his debut directing, and from the get-go, I was like, that's really interesting. I think he's a good actor. I like him. And, it was just this really, really clever thriller. It was captivating. It kept you guessing. From the trailer, it looked like it was going to be pretty stereotypical, but it turned out to be really original and really good, so I had a great time with that. Then, number 9, we had Bridge of Spies, the new... directed by Steven Spielberg.
I wish I had seen that. That looked cool.
It was very good. Tom Hanks was excellent.
Hanks.
It was just really enjoyable. It was classic Steven Spielberg, really authentic. Just a feel-good.
But did you see Tom Hanks in the "I Really, Really Like You" music video by Carly Rae Jepsen?
As a matter of fact, I did.
I think that was his best acting job to date.
It's amazing what Tom Hanks can do, especially in that.
Really like you.
Coming in at number 8, we have Cinderella. I was really looking forward to this movie. And because, I'm a Disney fan.
Because I want you. Do you want me to? Just keep going.
Okay.
Don't mind me.
Okay. All right, so yeah, Cinderella. I was looking forward to the movie. It was getting good reviews. I like to see Disney make, live adaptions, and even though some of the recent ones haven't been good, like Alice in Wonderland or Maleficent, Cinderella was excellent. The cast was perfect. They almost made it feel like almost a real world but it was a fairy tale. So I had a great time with that movie. I saw it in theaters. I bought the movie, and I still love it to this day. Then coming in at number 6. A little higher than Vince, is Avengers Age of Ultron. unlike Vince, I actually really enjoyed this movie. The only reason it was this low is
Yeah, you
because there
did.
were
You
some
had a
other
great
movies
seat. Tell you that right
yes,
now.
I did have a great seat.
Okay.
I was getting a headache.
Forget this, okay? If you want... While I'm here doing this video that I didn't even want to do because of my loyalty to this man, who it means a lot to, even though I think it's nerdy, I don't really want... But it's fun anyway. But this man, if you want to know about betrayal amongst friends, we go to see this movie after a long day's work this summer. And it was him, me, both our little brothers, and our good friend Scott. And we're in the movie theater, watching it, and then all of a sudden, about 20 minutes in, Harrison just in a rush, just old Wobblespoon just in a rush, gets up, like, flies out of the row, knocks over Scott's popcorn, leaves his shoe, and just flies out of there. So me and Scott kind of look at each other, kind of chuckle, and then time goes by, it's been about 10 minutes, and Scott kind of leans over to me, and he's like, where is this guy? You know, and I'm like, I don't know. So we kind of make jokes about him blowing up the bathroom and whatnot. And then, with smell. And then, about 10 minutes after that, I look at Scott, and I was like, no, really, where is this guy? And we look back, and a few rows behind us, Harrison has taken a better seat amongst strangers, and is just watching the movie intently. And it was then that we realized when we looked down that he had left his shoe. So this man, in order to get a better seat in the movie, left his friends and his own kin, knocked over Scott's popcorn and left his shoe so that he could take a better seat amongst strangers in the theater.
I had a headache, I wanted to enjoy the movie, and you don't talk during movies. You go to watch them.
Well, okay. But... And immediately after the movie was over, he just rushes out there. He's like, okay, before you call me a schmuck, I had a headache, and blah, 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 blah. Just...
Are you done?
Yeah, okay.
Okay. So, that was my number 7. I may have accidentally said that was my number 6, but it was my number 7, and I liked it. And coming in at number 6, one I don't think you saw,
I really wish I had.
This was a really
Heard it was awesome.
Great movie. You had...
Martians.
Why am I blanking on the guy who directed it?
Lots of aliens. Alien attack on Earth.
No, actually.
He goes and makes peace.
Matt Damon was so good in the lead role. You know, it was really captivating. It was really funny, but also really exciting. Ridley Scott, that's what I was thinking of.
He was out of it.
You know, it was science, but it made sense, and it was such a well-crafted movie, really well-directed, solid, exciting. I had a great time with this movie. All right. 5 through 2. Go for it.
5 through 2. Number 5, I have the Peanuts movie. Always been a fan of these classic characters. This movie really did it justice. Stayed true to the characters. Very humorous, delightful for the whole family to take.
Quite.
My only problem with it was Linus's hair. Linus's hair looked kind of like spider legs, and we all know the issues I have with that.
But his hair always looks like that.
No, but it looked a little too crusty. Linus's hair was weird. Everything else in the movie was awesome. Snoopy, Charlie Brown, all the gang was there. It was a fantastic ride. Number 4, The Gift.
Great movie.
No surprise, he had it too low. Jason Bateman is awesome in this movie.
He was really great.
And it keeps excellent thriller. Keeps your interest the whole time. Keeps you on the edge of your seat. You don't exactly know what's going on. It was also a great movie-going experience because we saw it with Scott, and for whatever reason, when we saw it, it was mostly old people in the theater, and we were the only ones making noise at the jump scenes, even to the point where the second time we did it, and I let out a sound which I am not proud of, and won't repeat, but can only be described as a yelp.
Yeah, that's
people around us started, the elderly crowd started to laugh at us a bit. Like 3 college-age guys just in there, and we're the only ones. I mean, but it was, okay, there's a couple parts
they were scary.
But anyway, excellent movie, excellent thriller. I'm a sucker for the mystery thriller types, and it was just excellently executed. Number 3, Cinderella.
Yes.
Cinderella was a magical ride. What's her face? The Downton Abbey girl?
Lily James.
Oof,
she's beautiful.
Lily James captivated me from scene 1 on. First of all, she is just a saint in that movie, like a
Yes,
beacon
she
of
is.
virtue. I wanted to marry her on the spot.
I don't.
Wow. Lily James was great. I mean, the whole movie
Don't
was
disagree.
a whimsical
Don't
journey,
disagree.
but Lily James. You check out Lily James in this movie. But also, yeah, just an excellently executed movie. Lily James. The only thing that was weird was her kind of
Lily James.
Lily James. Was her kind of sensual when the magical things would happen. She had some weird facial expressions, but Lily James.
Whatever.
Number 2, I think the best made movie of the year. It doesn't top my list of my favorite, but I think without a doubt best made movie of the year. I would vote for it for Picture of the Year as well as Animated Picture of the Year. The Disney Pixar instant classic, Inside Out.
Yes.
Don't really need to say anything about it, but its creative
So
genius
good.
and its beauty, along with its humor and deep insight into human nature and emotions, made it a both whimsical but tragic family roller coaster.
Absolutely incredible.
Great movie.
Okay. So, my number 5 is Mockingjay Part 2. I actually like this movie a lot more than Vince, probably because I actually like the book more, but I thought this movie captured so well
Well,
what
you
the
thought
book was
wrong.
going for. No.
Actually,
no.
it did capture
I
that.
think it captured it pretty well.
I brought out that
The
one too.
Action scenes were so well choreographed, really exciting, especially a sewer scene.
It
with
did
these
bring to life the
months. That
book,
was
which is
great.
why it sucked.
You know what? Yeah, we know you don't like the book. I like the book.
I will hand it to now that the Hunger Games are done. Every single one of them just followed. I've
They're
never seen
good
better
movies.
adaptations of books.
And
than
I
these
thought,
movies.
the end of the
it'll
book
change
is
anything.
so emotional, and they captured that so well. I was tearing up at the end. Jennifer Lawrence once again knocked it out of the park. I love her as an actress, so I had a wonderful time with this movie. Coming in at number 4, this is one of those movies that I didn't know was coming out, and when it came out, I was like, "Oh, this is getting really good reviews. What is this about?" And this is Spotlight. This was about the.
What is that?
It was about the Boston church sex abuse scandal. And yeah, when I say that,
What was that?
it sounds dark and disturbing, and in a way, it was, but it was so gripping and captivating. And I was kind of worried it might give the church, show the church in a bad light, but
In a bad spotlight, if you will.
Exactly. But they were fair about the situation. It was incredibly acted. It was so captivating. I was speechless at the end. I was tearing up throughout. This was a wonderful
What movie weren't you tearing up in this year?
Tomorrowland.
I know Paul Blart
and
made
Paul
you
Blart.
cry.
No, that just made
It
me
was
angry.
touching.
That just made me angry. Coming in at number 3, which was on his dishonorable mention list, is Mission Impossible 5. This movie was so good. I first of all,
If you like regular cliche
It
spy
was not-
action
okay.
movies that have nothing different
Mission
or
Impossible
special about
4
them, it was
reignited
awesome.
the spark for the Mission Impossible franchise. It was so good. They bring back Jeremy Renner and Tom Cruise, of course, and Simon
Tom
Pegg
Cruise.
again.
Oh, that's a great.
And Jeremy
and brought
Renner
back
and
Tom
Simon
Cruise.
Pegg.
A+.
They are such a good trio. The banter between them was hilarious. The action was so exciting. Everything from a scene with this big plane to an underwater scene. I understand you not liking it as much because it was the first Mission Impossible movie that you've seen. But I've seen all of them. I love this. This is probably about as good. Your hair looks beautiful. Don't worry about it.
Fire's raging weird. It's alright. No one will get to this part of the video anyway.
Oh, sure they will. They're
Look about
captivated
30
all the way.
seconds in, they're done.
I had a great time with this movie. I think it's about as good as number 4, and I saw it twice in theaters. I own it now. I love it. Coming in at number 2, we have Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens. Now, I don't feel like I have to say much about this. Hopefully all of you guys have seen Star Wars at this point. I thought it was a great, fresh reboot for Star Wars after the prequel trilogy. You guys know what I'm talking about. Yeah,
Except for the Phantom Menace. Don't care.
No,
I'm coming out of the closet. The Phantom Menace is awesome. I don't care. I'm allowed to have my own opinions, okay?
You can.
Phantom Menace.
You can talk about that when you talk about Star Wars in a sec, okay? Anyway, I thought this was a great.
Actually, we should just do a Star Wars video someday.
We could do a Star Wars video, and it was a new hope for the newer generation.
Wait, I did not visually suggest that.
Yes, you did. It was a beautiful movie. I loved how many practical effects and extras they actually used, and just using CGI to around in the edges when they needed to. It was so good. I loved the new characters, Rey, Finn, and Poe. Great new characters. It was emotional. It was exciting.
Legolas.
I've seen it. No.
Yeah, he was.
I've seen it 3 times.
You just didn't see him.
It was a great
Gollum
movie.
Was.
Yes, and I loved it. Okay, let's now say
my number one. Okay,
we might as well go right into yours.
All right, you know what it is. Paul Blart Mall Cop 2. Unbelievable! Let me tell you, this movie had everything. I'm just kidding. I thought you'd react stronger. Not Paul Blart, though. I did still think Kevin James was
myself in the head.
Funny in it, and the first Paul Blart will always have a good place in my heart. But I don't think I have ever.
Is good, but
I don't think I've ever watched a movie.
Lord,
okay. I don't think I've ever watched a movie with a more brutal script, awful plot, and horrendous acting outside of Kevin James.
Yes, okay.
I've ever seen. Paul Blart was garbage, but beautiful garbage. The kind of garbage that a raccoon might find delicious. Okay, not the kind of garbage that all the rats in New York are sticking their nose up. Okay,
so
I'm just saying
that
still
doesn't really make sense though.
Shut up. Okay. Star Wars Force Awakens, definitely my number one. This rekindled Star Wars nerd from way back had everything that I wanted. Well, I guess not really, but here's the thing. I love Star Wars, and I like all the movies, even the prequels. I mean, mostly they're not as good, except The Phantom Menace. Discussion for another time. I don't care. I have my own opinions. I don't care. I'm sick of people telling me that Phantom Menace sucks. Anyway, Star Wars was definitely flawed. It was not perfect. There's a few issues with it, and you know what? I'm just going to say spoilers right now for all those. I'm just going to talk about what I want to talk about. Like I said, no one's gotten this far in the video anyway, and if they have and you haven't watched Star Wars, just turn it off, because I'm just going to talk about it. And all the internet spoiler things are buzzing because I'm going to have spoilers. Really, another Death Star. I'm just going to talk about the flaws, but why I still love it. It was already repetitive in the 6th movie when we had to destroy the Death Star again. And then it's like, no, you don't get it, though. This one is bigger. No, okay? I swear, I'm alright with them doing it one more time, just like I'm okay with this movie basically being A New Hope again, as long as they go a different direction with 8 and 9.
Which they probably
Because
will.
the rest of the movie still allowed me to thoroughly enjoy it. I think this is Harrison Ford's best job in any of the movies, best acting job.
That's a pretty bold statement. I mean, he was
I still
great,
think he was great. I think it was the best that I've seen him. Visually stunning. Yeah, and like you said, loved the new characters. Rey and Finn, both very interesting. Now, a lot of people had issues with Kylo Ren because he wasn't Darth Vader, essentially. Because he wasn't this, he's presented as this big badass at the beginning, and then, as it goes on, he shows to be pretty weak, actually, and loses a fight to Rey, who's been a Jedi for approximately 20 minutes.
Right.
But, the thing is...
We don't know what's yet to come. She might
the thing is, Kylo Ren isn't Darth Vader, and that's why he's refreshing, he's different, he's new. I like having a villain that is actually not completed his training. Most villains in these kind of action, big, grand movies, the hero has to find themselves and figure things out, and the villain's already established and already confident, and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
So, and we have Supreme Leader Snoke, who's above him, who it's interesting to see who he is. Rumors of him being Darth Plagueis, that'd be interesting.
Don't know who
that
is. I'm not that much of a nerd.
Darth Plagueis was Palpatine's master. Anyway. But I've completely derailed my train of thought. No idea what I was saying. But anyway, I like how Kylo Ren isn't like Darth Vader. We've already seen Darth Vader. But it'll be interesting to see him and Rey progress together as they both train throughout the movies. And I would say, yes, it's kind of implausible that Rey would be able to beat him like that. And I actually do wish that the movie had ended with Kylo Ren kind of walloping Rey before the schism happened instead of her walloping him.
You know, we've had talks.
But I think it's plausible, one, because of his injuries. He had multiple injuries. He's obviously an emotional train wreck. And whether he wouldn't like to admit it, the fact that he just killed his dad, like, you need focus to use the Force, and he was not focused.
Absolutely not.
Also, he is pretty raw. He seems like such a badass at the beginning, but that's because there's no other Force users around. The things that he does look awesome, but it's not things that we haven't seen Jedi or Sith do before, which is why I give the filmmakers credit, because they took advantage, they capitalized on having a villain look really awesome at the beginning and thinking he's really cool, but then also having the double benefit of somebody new and refreshing and different by actually revealing that he's different than you think he is.
No, it was good.
So, like I said, loved the movie. Definitely flaws. I could go on a couple more flaws, but overall not perfect, but still great. I can't wait to see where they go with episode 8 and 9.
Great. And, wow, this video is long.
Yeah,
my number one was in number 2. It was flip-flop for us, but Inside Out. This movie was incredible.
It was inside and out.
Yes, it was. Inside and out, incredible. It was top-notch Pixar. It was beautifully animated. It was unique, creative, exciting. I saw it in theaters 3 times. Every time at the end, I teared up because it was a beautiful movie, and it was very honest. You know, the stuff that was going on in the movie is stuff that probably is something that you and I know myself have gone through as a kid while going through puberty during that age.
Puberty.
So good.
2 words I didn't want to hear in this house.
Sorry.
Puberty was the first.
Anyway, I love this movie so much. I really hope it gets lots of nominations in the Oscar.
Oh, it better. It will.
In the Academy Awards this year. But in any case, I love it. I own it. If you haven't seen it, go see it. I loved it so much. Okay, so that
about wraps it up.
That about wraps it up. That concludes all the movies that we have seen together this year. And if you are still watching this movie, I thank you so much. I hope we kept you entertained the whole time. If you didn't, well, you won't even hear this. So, till next time, hopefully, maybe I'll have a couple more videos up instead of just at the end of the year.
Maybe.
In recent months, we'll see. Anyway, thanks for watching. See you later.